Okay, let's see if this will work now. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Alicia Dianne, and this is making a graphic novel. I am going to be continuing working on this spread number 31. And hopefully we can make some good, steady progress today. It's been a long week for me, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that things are going to be good because I was at WonderCon over the weekend. It went really well, and a lot of people were interested in Jaydi story number 1, and we got a lot of buys for it. So that was good, and a lot of people just coming by and saying hi and expressing interest. So I felt really good about that, and made me feel like really hopeful. One thing I did want to say is that I am going to be at another convention this weekend. Is going to be the Afro Animation Summit, and that one is a very new art fair, art show, con slash engagement event, and it's to highlight Black artists in the animation field. So I'm very excited for that and glad that there are new networks and opportunities showing up for people, because we do need to see as many of that as possible, because for so long we weren't seeing anything. And I don't know how many people really talk about it or express it, and I know I've mentioned these type of things before, but it is increasingly challenging for minority artists of color to kind of just find, not only to find work, but to just find their voice in entertainment business. I mean, I think it's I was gonna say animation, but I think it's in film, it's in gaming, it's can be in music in some instances as well. So it's just good for more people to be just aware of the challenges that artists from different backgrounds might face, and that's why we have events like this, just to kind of keep people and I forgot to do the second coat of their hair, so I will probably also be adding the second coat of their hair, but I think I'll just keep going with where I am right now. What I wanted to talk about today was helping more artists. I think one thing that's kind of been on my mind a lot more lately is helping more artists kind of get the confidence and what's the word? This, I don't know if I want to say it's just getting artists to make their own content. I feel like that is increasingly becoming one of the only outlets for many artists, because I feel like there's a lot of lanes that are closing. There are opportunities to work in the mainstream, but I feel like waiting on that is kind of like waiting for the golden ticket. From what's that movie called? What color is her lips? I don't remember what color this girl's lips are. I'll just do them in. Maybe I'll find a lighter brown to do her lips. But it feels like it's like waiting for the golden ticket. It just feels like you can do that, but you can also make a lot of your own content and do your own work. And yeah, it might be harder financially, and you might have to work a second job while you're doing it, but I think it's I want to say the smartest way at this point right now, because it just feels like, I'm gonna say, it just doesn't make sense to just kind of keep waiting for the never-ending maybe that might happen. I've just about entirely, I don't even I want to say I don't even care about getting hired by a studio anymore, because I don't. It took me a long time to get to that place, though, because I always wanted to be hired by a studio, and then I'm like, but for why though? Like, do I really need permission to make the art that I want to make and do? And is my ideal even like making somebody else's dream story come to life? And I don't know if either one of those things really makes the most sense to me right now. I know for me, it's felt most satisfying to have work and to get clients on my own and be able to help my clients one-on-one tell stories, and to also just be able to make my own work. I feel like it's really cool when you can have your day job be like freelance work, and if you're able to, you don't have to depend on working in a studio. You can find work, and it gives you a lot of flexibility and the ability to make time for your own art, which is, I think, the biggest thing. Now, one thing I noticed is a lot of artists, or a lot of people starting out, including myself, don't realize how much work it's going to be. I took for granted, for sure, how challenging it was going to be to get to the place and the position and the skill level that I needed to be to actually do something to make the progress I wanted to make. I thought, like, because and that's the thing too, when you're an artist and you're around a lot of people making art, it can and everyone tells you like how good you are when you're like in a like in a regular school. You can get carried away with that and think, oh, well, I'm good enough to get into this and that. Everyone tells me that I'm good at this, so I must be pretty good. But you're good in like the kiddie pool. I've been there too. I thought I was good enough to do what I needed to do. And I don't want to say good enough, like, as in you can't make something powerful when you're still in a learning phase. What I mean is, don't stay there. Don't get stuck there, because I think you can make great things, and you can be a really impactful artist at whatever your skill level is right now. But if you want to keep getting further, then I feel like you really need to keep pushing to get further. And the only way to do that is to like stretch yourself. And I don't know, it just seems like, what's the point if you're not willing to stretch yourself, if you're not wanting to get better, if you're not wanting to get really, really good at what you're doing, then I don't know what the point is. I think by that, it's like, practicing. Like, I did that figure drawing Friday. I did it on YouTube for a long time until until I started getting more views, and I guess the original content creator of the modeling was not happy, and I have basically like a cease and desist. I had to stop showing their photographs that I was drawing. So that happened, but I never stopped doing the figure drawing. And from the time that I decided that I wanted to be pro, and I really had made up my mind, I started doing like regular daily figure drawing, and then people sketching, and then even just going to galleries, going to art fairs. I've always been I always thought it was amazing. I loved going to the art fairs, and I still do. But I feel like, especially when you're starting out, it's really important to get that inspiration and to get that even the education too, like seeing how other people who have made this their life, how they did it, and going to other people and asking questions and getting answers and learning about this field that you say you love. There's been a couple of times even at different events for artists where I meet people and they're like embarrassed to draw, and it's like, well, what do you mean you're embarrassed to draw if this is what you do? If this is like your profession, if this is what you take seriously, why are you now embarrassed to draw? Like, and I'm not saying that it's an easy thing to do, especially when it takes a certain amount of practice to feel really confident in what you're doing, and I understand that. But I think what I really mean to say is, like, do you have the willingness to put in the effort to get to where you want to get to? Like, even if you feel uncomfortable with where your drawings are right now, which I have been, and still sometimes if something happens and I need to practice or whatever, or I'm drawing something that I don't feel as good in. I think that's a good example too, because we're always getting better at something, and then there's always something that we still have to get better at. And right now I'm in a phase where I'm still trying to figure out how to do trees in a way that I feel good. Is that I can't draw trees, but painting them is challenging for me. So I'm in that phase where I'm like, all right, well, I'm learning, I'm looking, and I'm seeing what other artists are doing and how they're making the trees look the way I want them to look. And I'm in a learning stage there. But I don't feel like I'm willing to put the effort in. And I think that's a big part of it, is just being willing to put the effort in, even if you don't feel necessarily confident where you are right now, because the only way that changes is by actually doing what you need to do. So I feel like I feel like empathetic towards that whole sentiment. I feel like I understand where that artist is at, and I know it's hard because you want to make something and it's not coming out how you want it to be, so it feels like a failure. It hurts. It can feel like painful. But how much of that? But when you know the only way through it is to actually go through it, how willing then are you to just keep going? That's what I wonder. How willing then are you willing to not give up in your work? I don't know. It's important to keep your priorities. That's in the wrong place. At least I know where it needs to be. Somewhere here. Trying to draw where these lights are going to be. Alright. I don't know if I can erase that. To be careful with that. Okay. Let's see what else I can do. Alright. Alright, so let's see what else marker I need to add. Let's see what color this does. It's kind of lighter than I would have liked it to be, maybe. Just trying to find the right colors to put in here. Don't want them to be too bright, but I still want everything to pop how it should. Still just trying to find a balance for that. Let's see. So I'm going to, this guy has like some bleach blondish hair, so I wanted to add some texture there for his hair. Alright, so let's do these one at a time. Let's see where we can get with the ink. Alright. Alright, so making a graphic novel. I'm gonna do some announcing, some formal announcing and some formal promotion for the new book. And the new book is making a graphic novel. I talked about it the last time because I was still working on getting it to the printers and everything at that point. And I got my physical copy, when did I get it? I got it when I came back from WonderCon, so I got it on Sunday. And I was super excited about how it came out. I love the quality. It looks so pretty. I have so much artwork in there. I'm trying to find my extra marker. I don't know if I have a smaller micron. I think I have my smaller micron in the other room. So hold on a second. Let me see. Alright, looks like I found it. So that's a good thing. It's really low though, so I'm gonna need to get some more color microns. And I'm gonna try and just do some of these closer up facial details first. But yeah, I'm not like formally this is just kind of a secret. I'm not formally announcing it right now, but I will be very shortly over this weekend, and I'll be sending out my newsletter about it. But you're getting to know you're getting to know very first of the first. So let's see. What else did I want to talk to you about today? I can talk a little bit about, I would like to talk a little bit about why I wanted to make the Making a Graphic Novel book. It actually almost happened on accident because I had started a project when I was launching the when I was launching the Kickstarter for Jaydi Story #1, and I wanted to put something together where I showed my progress and I shared like the journey that became the graphic novel. And I wanted to share like all of the making, artwork, all of like the rough sketches and the ideas and the dream I had about Jaydi initially when in what was it? In 2015. It was April 4th, so tomorrow will actually be the 10-year anniversary. Oh, 10-year anniversary of Jaydi. And that's crazy. So tomorrow's the anniversary. It makes me feel so sentimental. So, and tomorrow's Friday. You know what? I think I will make tomorrow the official opening. The official launch of Jaydi Story, making a graphic novel. So anyway, I'm telling this story of like I wanted to make a book that was like it was initially planned to be just like a digital book, but I wanted it to be all the artwork and the process and my thoughts during the process. And I created a digital version that I had going for a while that I launched at the Kickstarter campaign, and it was really like it was called like The Art of Jaydi Story, and that was the first version of what making a graphic novel became. But when I started thinking about it more, and I was like, you know what, I want to make this into like a printed book. And I started thinking about that last year. And this year when I was, getting more into it and, thinking about my timeline for when Jaydi Story #2 will come out, and I'm like, you know what, I still have this other book too that has just kind of been waiting in the wings almost. Like on the sidelines. And I'm like, you know what, I want to do it. I don't just want to do it, I want to do it like I want to really make this be like something impactful. So what I decided to do was to take the original script and really go back. I read it over, and I wanted to I need to sneeze. I thought I need to sneeze. I was going to take the initial like timeline of everything, the initial writing, and I wanted to transform it into something practical, something that not only you learn about my journey, but you're able to apply the same techniques and the same thought process that I did, so that you can make your own graphic novel. And so that's when I decided to rework the whole book from beginning to end. And I added new artwork, and I added a ton of new advice, and I added questions after each step, and I divided it all up. It was always just one kind of thought process before, but now I divided it into 10 steps, and I added a ton of information. So I'm excited to be releasing that, and I guess I'm releasing that tomorrow. Because I have my prints now, and I am so excited about it. And only have a small number right now for this first initial printing, but we'll see how it goes this weekend at the Afro Animation Summit, and how many more I'll be able to get soon enough. So there is that. Yay, I'm so happy for it. It did make me feel really good and hopeful. And like, man, I'm finally going to be able to share my journey like in one place, It's like you can watch all 300 something videos and a lot of them are no longer on YouTube because of, all of my Figure Friday videos, which was over 100 videos I had to take down. Or you can read the book. And I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it. And I just finished today, what is it called? Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. I read the last 2 pointers today, and what I'm excited about that is it was nice. The last two are kind of bittersweet. It's like it feels like a little coming home. And I am going to be doing my very last book club this evening at 5 p.m. I'm going to be doing that, and I decided to make it the last one because I want to switch gears. I enjoyed doing the book club. I've done it for about a year now, but I feel like I need to switch gears and put more of the focus now that I'm developing more things into my own content, because reading other people's work has been great, and sharing their ideas, but I feel like I'm at a place now where I want to share more of my own ideas and my own techniques. And I also want to keep going with I will still do my studying the masters, because that is part of my process. So I think I will still be sharing those every so often, but I think I want to have most of the focus be on my own content. I want to work on developing that for you guys. So there is that. And let's see. Just trying to figure out what I need to do with the small thing. And save for later what I can do with the big one. Always trying to make sure too I have the right amount of toes and fingers. Don't want to add more than makes sense. No more than 5 toes and fingers per appendage, please. Okay, so let's see, 2. Let's see. I am starting to think more about writing and sharing the writing process, because so much of, I'm realizing too, like so much more of the creative process is about the writing side, and I include that in the book too, like that journey of initially starting to write, and how kind of scary it can be for visual artists to begin the writing process, because we don't know what to do. We don't know how it works. We have the ideas, but we don't know how to get them across effectively initially, like in the beginning. But it doesn't have to stay that way. And that was one of the things I wanted to, that I really want to help people to do, because I feel like we're missing so many stories. And the more I learn, the more I'm like, how come this story hasn't been told yet? How come this story hasn't been told yet? How come we don't know? 3. Alright, I thought I gave her 6 toes for a second. How come we don't know more about this subject? And quite honestly, it bothers me that we don't have more access to more stories. And so I want to make it and help make it easier for people to be able to tell stories and to be able to create not just any stories, but like impactful stories, meaningful stories, stories that make a difference, stories that change people's thought process, how they look at maybe diversity, how they look at struggle and overcoming things. So that's one of the journeys that I want to take on in my life. So hopefully we'll be seeing that, more of that a lot very soon, very, very soon. All right. This one will probably be fine with the bigger one, actually. I think maybe I'll just Just trying to figure out what I need for Sabrina here. So in this part of the story, Sabrina is trying to, watch boys. And Jaydi very calmly kind of changes the subject and tries to talk about Governor Wanchan, what he's trying to do in their town, in their village, and Sabrina is, not unjustifiably skeptical of what this new guy can do in a culture that already exists to them. So she's skeptical, and she expresses that with her little quote-unquote like, she's like, he's no savior. And Jaydi might be looking for a savior at this point, just like somebody to ease her burdens. I think that's kind of where she is right now. She doesn't recognize her own ability just yet. So that's where these characters are in this point of the story. And Sabrina is still very woefully, I don't want to say ignorant, just woefully young. Young, and she just doesn't understand all that stuff. Or just doesn't take it seriously. And she's had to go through things that make her maybe more pessimistic about certain things. I noticed that every time I get into these characters, I realize that each of them is part of myself so much. They're all like very different, but that's kind of the neat thing. They represent some part of you still in some way. I think I want to do a video or a series of videos of creating a cast, because I think that is really important. To have like this variety in cast. And I think I might be doing it like, I might just be like making my own set of casts, and as I do want to write more stories, and I have ideas in mind that I want to explore, and I think I will track that process so that I can share it, not just like what I've already learned, developing and still developing. I feel like it's just like a movie director when you're making a film. Like, you're not finished with the script until it's, till the editor's finished, until it's in the theaters. I mean, you still like might be thinking about like, how can I do this? How can I do that? Like, even like every book, I know that I'll be adding changes to the script, like even if it's subtle things, because I'm learning as I'm going, and I'm reading and as I'm going too. So I'm like, and I'm observing as I'm going, and I'm seeing what's effectful and what's effective and what's not, and applying those things as I go. And I think that's a good thing. And I've heard directors, movie directors, film directors, talk about that, and talk about how they change things up until the very last minute if they feel like a scene works better done another way. And I think it's good to be open to allow those types of changes to happen when they want to. And when you come back to your story with more experienced eyes, and you can see the things. It's just like, if you're doing a drawing and you finish it for the day, you're done with it for the day, and then you start working on it again the next day, and then you see a bunch of mistakes that you didn't notice the day before. That happens to me all the time. Like, I'll be working on a drawing, or like I'll start painting an illustration, and I didn't finish it the first day, but I made good progress, and I come back to it like the next day, or even like 2 days later, and then I'm like, oh, I need to change this, or like, this is uneven, or this character, one eye is higher than the other, or, I notice things, but you have to come back with those fresh eyes. And I think the same thing happens in our writing, so in our storytelling. So be open to those types of changes and let them happen. And be like, oh no, it's not in stone. Like, your script is not in stone. You want it to improve, and you're going to keep on editing it as you go. So just try and keep that in mind. I had a shout out to Richard Gorey, because he really is the first person, I think, that really made the idea of writing feel exciting to me, because it seemed like so daunting initially. I was like, oh, I can't do that. But I didn't realize I was already doing it. I didn't realize that just making my own characters I was already doing it, like in the little, little scripts and stuff, like the little comics I made. I didn't realize I was already writing, because you don't see it. You see it as just making characters. But one of the things that I learned recently is, and I learned this through one of those classes I'm taking, like online. I think it's always good to just keep learning, keep your mind open from other people with more experience, because they can always teach you something. So one of the things I've learned recently is just, and it makes total sense to me, is just like, this guy, I don't remember his name offhand, but he says, writing a story is making a story. It's the exact same thing. Like, when you're writing something, you're making something. Like, and when you're making something, you're writing it. You could even be making like a short zine, or just like a little doodle. But if you have some element of story, her nose came out a little bit funky right now. Let's see if I can fix it. But if you're making something, you're writing it. If you're writing something, you're making it. It's the same thing. And I didn't put that together as he had. It really just cleared it up, and it makes so much sense, because it's true. It's very true. We complicate things, and we complicate things that we don't understand. But once we start to understand how they work, we can take the complexity out of it. It doesn't need to be there. Like, it's not as hard as we make it feel like in our head. I think that this process of like, especially, I think I go through a similar process when I'm doing, like, studying the masters, and even when I do my other types of drawing videos. Like, I talk about all of these different things that go in my head, but I don't know, it feels even more clear when I'm doing the graphic novel. I don't know if I think it's, or maybe it's just the idea, or just the notion of drawing and talking at the same time, and kind of just speaking from, I want to say my heart, but that doesn't feel like the right word. It's almost like I'm speaking from another place. Like I feel a different level of clarity when I draw and discuss things that are important to me at the same time. So I don't know what it is, but it definitely helps. And again, I'm trying to not go in on the places that I can use the thicker marker for, because I don't want to. It really wears out the little nub when you're using it on bigger spaces than you need to be. It really just wears it out, and there's not much of this little teeny bitty nub left. I don't know if you can see, but there's not much left. Okay, so let's see. Anything else? Let's see if I can do this part of her face. Make sure I include her mole there. What else can I rant about? I was feeling stressed, really stressed this morning. I was feeling stressed with my son because he's having a hard time getting his work done for class, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what exactly is, the block. It feels like there's a block somewhere, and I feel like it might be in the confidence area. It's hard for me as a mom to watch because I'm trying to like support him the best I can, but it feels like he does not want support from me, and it's frustrating because I'm like, I'm here, I'll help you, let me, let's do this, and all you have to do is just pull your work out, pull out your assignment, and but even just the act of like pulling the assignment out, or like printing it, or just being available to, he just is resisting it, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me, if I'm just annoying to him now because he's at an age where mom is annoying, but he's in college, he's in a community college, and he has a different learning style, and he's on the spectrum, so he doesn't learn in the same way that an average student might. Raising a child who's now an adult, on the spectrum has been it feels almost like the least thing that I've found understanding with other people, because it feels like genuinely like no one understands. And I feel sometimes uncomfortable talking about it because I'm very protective of him. And I think one of the biggest things that I want anyone to look down on him in any way. And I feel very protective. And he's really high functioning. He's able to do so many things. And I feel like I'm really grateful to a lot of the assistance and support that we've gotten through like the programs that have been in place that have helped him to overcome some of the earlier challenges. At the same time, it's made it harder to find people to understand, because so many of the other parents that I've met, like, they're dealing with different challenges. Like, they might have a kid that's really struggling, and I feel, it's hard because you feel really bad when you see, like, just how much some families can really struggle with a child that has special needs. And it's hard. But I feel like with my son, it's hard to talk about because I'm like, well, he's functioning so much more than some of these other kids. I almost feel like, I don't know if it's like guilt or like, I just feel like I can't say anything for what I'm going through because it's so subtle. It's just like all of these small struggles, but they add up. And it becomes really hard, especially when other people don't notice, even like family, they don't understand. They don't get it, and they don't think that you need help, but you do. And it's hard to say that because they might not take it seriously, or they might not see everything that you're going through. I don't know. Why did I start talking about it? It's just on my mind. I'm trying to not talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it, but that's what I'm going through right now. It's weird because it's like, it seems like it's just so simple to just finish this little assignment that should take maybe 10 minutes. But it's just like such a struggle. let that go. Trying to get some more support from some of the county services, so we'll see how that ends up, and hopefully they'll keep their word this time about sending some support, and I don't know. Maybe I need to find some more books on this subject. I just gotta get past, like, you know, that, I don't know, whatever it is. We'll get there, though. I'm a praying woman. I'm a praying woman and a God-fearing woman, so I'll get there eventually. 1, 2, 3. Make sure I don't give her extra fingers. 4. Oh, God. I shouldn't have put that as a finger. Oh, well. How do I make this? I've given characters extra fingers on accident before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's always like during the inking phase because it's hard to see the little outline. This doesn't look right, but you know what? Oh well. Sometimes you just gotta do the best that you can and let the chips fall where they may, in life and in drawing. Life is like, drawing, I feel like it's like a metaphor for life sometimes. It's all these little struggles and stuff. These little, I don't know. Oh, I don't know if I told you, I got rejected from I get rejected from UCLA. I think I talked about applying. I applied to go to the African Studies Master's Program, and I just found out. When did I find out? Last week. That I didn't make the cut. But it's okay because I started doing my own research again. And it did bum me out. I was sad. I might have cried, I don't know. But I moved on fairly quickly. And I was like, I'm gonna just do my own research. That's what I did in my first master's program anyway. I did independent research, and that's how I learned everything. Like, my teacher was letting us explore whatever subjects. My first professor was letting us explore whatever topics we wanted to, and we just did our own research. And I chose to study African studies for my independent research, and I'm just going to keep it going. And it's nice to have a mentor and professors and peers to go over it with, but you know what? I'm just going to see how far I can get myself on my own. And thankfully I do have some people who are interested and who are willing to mentor me. I have some mentors right now, so I have my business mentor and I have my brand new mentor from the nonprofit. I needed a new therapist though. I dumped my therapist, unfortunately, like 2 months ago. She was nice, I liked her, but there was something missing. I felt there was something missing, so I had to end that marriage of sorts. But I was meaning to get a new one right away, and I didn't, and now I'm like, oh crap, I need one right now. So momentarily we'll need to be it for today, and hopefully I did already make the call to get assigned someone new, so hopefully sooner than later I will have my new therapist as well, because mentors are great, but you don't want to burden them with your stuff, therapist stuff, with your therapy things. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see where we're at. What time is it? Is it already late o'clock? Alright. I think the rest can be done with a thick marker for that one. No clue what time it is. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 12:35 p.m.
Thank you. It's nice to say thank you to Alexa, even if, you know, she's AI. This is a good habit. It's a good habit to practice. Just say please and thank you to Alexa. I don't know what Sabrina's saying in this panel, but I'm pretty sure it's about boys. It's the only time she has that glow in her eyes. If teen boys only knew how boy crazy teen girls really are. I think everyone's just so insecure at that stage. But maybe they're like, come on, teen girls, you know you were there like writing Mrs. So-and-so in your notebook about some boy who had no idea. And the problem is, it's always the wrong person who likes the wrong person. Like, you always end up liking the one who doesn't like you, and vice versa. I think that's the biggest problem with teen dating. It's not that they both parties aren't interested. It's just, and maybe in adult dating too, just finding that person who's equally interested in you as and you are in them. And Jaydi's like, I don't care. That's why, you know, it's really about boys too. She's like, whatever. Whatever. She just hasn't experienced carrying it. But she will. But she will soon enough. It's always like that too. It's always like, whatever, I don't care, until you're like, oh, I care now. At least I think it goes that way for most of us. It's definitely happened to me more than once. Okay. It's 12:30. I don't know if I've been on for an hour yet. Don't want to bore you too much with my tomfoolery. I gotta figure out how long it takes to actually do the inking part. It's that part I feel like I'm still not entirely sure of. Okay, let's see. This is here. This goes here. Alright, let's try and finish the little brush strokes. And see where we get after that. One thing I really hope I can do is go to Kenya this year. Since I started working with not working, but volunteering with this Harambee Center, the nonprofit organization. I should say serving. Yeah, I'm just serving on their board. But it seems like I feel like everyone but me has been to Kenya already. So I'm excited for that part of my process and my journey. I've been waiting for 10 years already to go. So hopefully that can happen this year. I just realized when I went to go get my little pen, I could have paused it because I'm pre-recording this session, but I totally forgot about that. Oh well, it can keep the same feel and the same vibe of my live stream. But I do think it will be more effective though to do these recordings in prior, even if they're unedited. I love Jaydi's expression in this panel. It just feels all very relatable. I feel like it's how I feel most of the time. Okie dokie. Alright, I think I'm going to end it here. It was wonderful talking to y'all today. Shared more than I was expecting to. But it's all for the good. Hopefully that, someone who's, or any of you who might be experiencing similar things, let me know. It's good for us to stick together as artists need to have our feelings heard. So hopefully you feel a little bit more heard today. All right. Thank you for joining me. I will see you guys next time. This is where I'm at so far. And until I see you again, be grateful, live balanced, and be yourself. See you next time.